Okay, so in this session, we're going to look at on how to compute income tax for IHC. And for the first question, we're going to focus more for listed IHC. Okay, so here I provide to you a question regarding Geelong Berhad. So kalau first kali you tengok dekat sini, Geelong Berhad. Nampak perkataan Berhad here. We know that this company is a listed IHC sebab perkataan Berhad. Okay, so given to us, Geelong Berhad is an IHC listed on the Bursa Malaysia. Therefore, you do not need to worry much on the criteria of a company to be considered as IHC or not, since the question is specifically mentioned this one is IHC. Okay, alright. Next, dia bagi dekat kita income and expenses of the company. Dia ada interest, dia dapat juga income dalam bentuk dividend, rental and management fees. Here we have additional info. The company carries a business activity. So selain daripada buat investment, sebabnya IHC dia punya main activity is holding of investment. Selain daripada holding of investment, Geelong ni juga ada buat business activity, business A, but it is not considered as the main activity. Hasil daripada buat business tu, dia dapat management fee. Okay, management fee sebanyak 70,000. Note number 2, common expenses. So please note here, we have common expenses and also common capital allowance. So remember, dalam my video before, I dah bagi tahu dah, bila common expenses, we need to apportion. Okay, kita ada common expenses of 160,000 and common capital allowance 90,000. Since dia common, kita nak kena apportion kepada 4 sources of income here. Alright, lepas tu dia kata how to apportion common expenses and common CA are determined based on gross income. So nak apportion, kita akan tengok dekat gross income. Alright, first part of the question, you need to calculate the amount of capital expense, common expenses and common capital allowance. Okay, so here I show to you macam mana I buat apportionment of common expenses. Mula-mula kita tengok interest dulu. Dia kata apportion ikut gross income. Untuk interest tak ada income for this year, nil. Therefore, I letakkan 0 over total income. Total here, I ambil yang ni, 800,000. So 0 over 800,000 times with, kita ada common expenses sebanyak 160,000. So untuk interest, common expenses dia akan jadi kosong lah. While untuk dividend pula, kita nak apportion, we take the amount for dividend here 450,000 over 800,000 times 160,000. Therefore, we got the common expenses for dividend amounting to 90,000, 90,000. We do the same for rental, 280,000 here, bahagi dengan total 800,000 darab 160,000. So, expenses yang belong to rental hanyalah sebanyak 56,000. And last one, kita ada management fee 70,000 over 70,000 over 800,000 times 160,000, we get 14,000 common expenses that belong to management fee. So ni cara kita nak apportion common expenses. Next, we move to common CA. Kita ada CA sebanyak 90,000, tapi capital allowance ni dikongsi oleh 4 income here. So bila dia dikongsi common, we need to apportion. Cara apportion sama macam yang kita buat untuk yang atas tadi tu. Kita ambil berapa gross income for each source of income over total gross income darabkan dengan the amount of common expenses yang kita nak apportion tadi. So buat benda yang sama dan kita akan dapat untuk interest kosong CA dia, dividen RM50,625, rental RM31,500 and CA that belong to management fee sebanyak RM7,875. Alright, so we are done with the first part of the question. Now, part B, we need to calculate chargeable income for Jilang Berhad for the YA 2018. Okay, so cara nak buat dia, kita tahu untuk listed REITs, untuk listed IHC, all sources of income will be lump sum letak bawah section 4A. So semua benda pun akan duduk bawah section 4A business income. Kita buat satu-satu. Mula-mula kita ada interest income. This year interest income is 0, nil, minus direct expenses. Direct expenses yang berkaitan dengan interest here kita ada 95,000. However, kita boleh tak tolak 95,000 tu? Boleh. Sebab dia direct expenses. Tapi since this year, we do not have any interest income, 0. So, berapa direct expenses yang boleh tolak? Jawapan dia pun nil juga, 0. Tak boleh tolak sebab ke atas ni tak ada income. Minus common expenses. Still remember, previous slide kita dah apportionkan common expenses yang belong to business interest income, 0. So kita akan tolak nil juga. Then we arrive at adjusted income for interest, nil, minus CA. CA that we apportion to interest is also 0. So nil juga. Last kali, we come to the statutory income for interest. Dia punya answer is nil. So, baru siap satu untuk interest income. Next, kita nak move kepada dividend pula. Okay. Still under section 4A, business income. Dividend here for this year kita ada 450,000. However, dividend income single tier, it is going to be exempted from tax. So here nil. Minus direct expenses, Jilang Berhad incurred 122,000 for direct expenses in related to dividend. Kita ada 122,000. You should be you should be remind ataupun ada remind you dah dalam video yang before, any expenses specifically related to dividend is specifically not deductible. So kita akan disregard. Kita akan ignore these expenses. Minus common expenses, kita tadi dah apportion common expenses ada 90,000. However, dia berkaitan dengan dividend, therefore it is specifically not deductible. kita akan disregard juga. Dan kita akan dapat adjusted dividend income nil tolak CA. CA yang tadi kita dah apportion, CA that belong to dividend sebanyak RM50,625. Tapi remember, apa-apa sahaja yang berkait dengan dividend here, dividend ni is specifically not deductible. So masih lagi disregarded. Last kali kita akan end up dapat statutory dividend income nil. Okey, settle bahagian dividend. Sekarang kita nak move pula kepada rental. This year, Gilong dapat rental RM280,000. So, you masukkan RM280,000. Tolak direct expenses. Direct expenses untuk rental kita ada RM80,000. Tolak RM80,000. Minus common expenses. Previous slide, we have already apportioned common expenses for rental. We have 56,000. Dan kita dapat adjusted income untuk rental sebanyak 144,000. Minus capital allowance that belong to rental, we have 31,500. So, last kali, we get the statutory rental income of 112,500. 112,500. This one, cara kita treat rental income for listed REITs. Okay, last one, kita ada lagi satu, management fee, 70,000. So, management fee sebanyak 70,000 here. Direct expenses that related to management fee 100,000. Even though we have 100,000 yang dibenarkan untuk tolak, but then kita hanya ada income tahun ni yang berkaitan dengan management fee sebanyak 70,000 sahaja. So, berapa yang boleh tolak? Kita hanya akan tolak 70,000. Common expenses, tadi kita dah buat apportionment, kita dapat expenses sebanyak 14,000. Tapi, kita dah tak boleh tolak here sebab dah tak ada income. Yang tahun ni 70,000, dah tolak dah 70,000 dari expenses, sekarang dah zero. So, nil. Dan you dapat adjusted income nil. Minus CA, tadi dah kira CA yang belong to management fee sebanyak 7,875. But since tak ada adjusted income tahun ni, so CA will be disregarded. Therefore, statutory management fee for this year adalah nil juga. Okay. Last kali kita nak tengok tambah semua. Interest nil, tambah dividend nil, tambah statutory rental 112,500, tambah statutory management fee nil. So, we have aggregate income sebanyak 112,500 minus current year business loss. So, macam mana kita nak cari berapa banyak business loss? Okay, business loss kita kat sini 30,000. Sorry ya. Mana? Kita dah ada ni. Tahun ni 70,000. Lepas tu kita ada incur direct expenses 100,000 kan. Therefore kat sini kita dah loss sebanyak 30k. Campur lagi dengan yang ni, kita ada common expenses 14,000. Tapi kita tak boleh nak guna sebab tahun ni dah tak ada income. Kat sini kita ada 14k loss. Therefore, in total, current year business loss kita akan dapat sebanyak 44,000. Okay, I ulang lagi sekali Macam mana dia dapat figure for current year business loss? This one they refer to yang ni, management fee. Okay. Untuk management fee, tahun tu income dia 70,000. Tapi nak dapatkan 70,000 tu, Gilong dah incur expenses sebanyak 100,000. Expenses is bigger than income. So, berapa yang you dah loss? 70 tolak 100, you dah loss sebanyak 30,000. Lepas tu satu. Next, untuk management fee tu juga, dia incur common expenses of 14,000. So, 14,000 tu sepatutnya boleh tolak. Tapi sebab income dah tak ada tahun tu, therefore 14,000 dah jadi loss. Yang ni pun dikira sebagai current year business loss, 30,000 plus 14,000. We have a total of 44,000 as current year business loss. So, tolak daripada aggregate income, dapatlah chargeable income sebanyak 68,500.